Welcome to Mission APSC ASA YouTube channel. আজি আমি ডিসকাস কৰিব লৈছো ক্লাছ নম্বৰ 9 that is local attractions. আমি ইতিমধ্যে ডিসকাস কৰিলো up to forebearing and backbearing from the beginning. আৰু আজি আমি আপোনালোকৰ সন্মুখত ডিসকাস কৰিব লৈছো local attraction নামৰ টপিকটো। সো এই যিকিটা টপিক মই ডিসকাস কৰি আছো এই টপিকছ বিলাক আহিবলগীয়া APSC PSC বা এৰিগেশ্যন এক্সামৰ কাৰণে যথেষ্ট গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ হ'ব সেইকাৰণে আপোনালোকৰ কাৰণে এইকেইটা টপিক মই লৈ আহিছোঁ চ' মই কমপ্লিট কৰিব ট্ৰাই কৰিম গোটেই এনটিআৰ চিলেবাছটো চাৰ্ভেইঙৰ চ' আপোনালোকে মোৰ চেনেলটো ছাপৰ্ট কৰিব লাইক কৰিব এণ্ড ছাবস্ক্ৰাইব কৰিব চেনেলটো চ' লোকেল এট্ৰেকশ্যন কি হয় বেচিকেলি লোকেল এট্ৰেকশ্যন এজ এ মেগনেটিক নিডল may get influenced by some attracting forces. This prevents the needle from swinging from point to the magnetic north. Okay? Suppose কি হৈছে আমি কৰবাত সার্ভে করব গৈ আছো and we are using compass survey. Since compass survey এটা particular north and magnet থাকে আৰু তাৰ দুটা direction থাকে one is north and another is south, right? So কি হয় তেতিয়া যিটো আমাৰ north south কম্পাছত থাকে সেই কম্পাছৰ নৰ্থ চাউথে যদি কিবা মেগনেটিক সাবষ্টেন্স আছে পাৰ্টিকুলাৰ ফিল্ডখনত তেতিয়াহ'লে কি হ'ব সেই মেগনেটিক সাবষ্টেন্সবিলাকৰ লগত কম্পাছৰ যিটো নৰ্থ চাউথ সিহঁতে কি কৰিব এট্ৰেকশ্যন কৰিব because of that attraction there may be some error arises, right? That error is nothing but that error is basically called as the error due to local attraction. That means locally some magnetic substance are available in that place. That's why the local attractions taking place, right? So we have several sources of attractions. The first source is magnetic in the ground. If in the ground surface if there exists some magnet, then also there is a possibility of local attractions. Secondly, wire carrying electricity. Suppose some wire is there which is carrying electricity. Since the electricity also attracted the north pole or south poles of an magnet, that's why if there is a wire carrying electricity is present in that particular ground, then also local attraction happens. And third is steel structures. So steel structure is basically if there is some steel structure present inside the ground, then also that steel structure will attract the compass, that is the magnet which is present in the compass, right? And if rays are there, if the underground iron pipes are there, or if the case are where there, or some mobile phones are there, in case of mobile phone also some kind of magnet is used, that magnet also attracted or influenced by the compass. So that's why this mobile phones, presence of mobile phones, the presence of metal bottoms and presence of steel structure also deflects the main results up to a certain point. So we have to consider local attractions, or we have to modify the local attraction error once we go for, or once we carry it for survey, right? So local attraction at a particular place can be detected by observing the force and back bearing of each line and finding its difference. If the difference between forward bearing and back bearing is 180 degree, then the stations are free from local attraction provided no observational and instrumental errors. Suppose we are measuring some angles with the help of compass, and then we at a particular station we found the forward bearing suppose 200 degree and the back bearing suppose we are finding 20 degree. So once when we deduct forward bearing from back bearing, we get the difference is 180 degree. That means the area is free from local attractions. So if there is local attraction exists, then we cannot get the difference between forward bearing and back bearing as 180 degree, right? If the difference is other than 180 degree, that means forward bearing should be measured again. So we have to measure again to find whether the discrepancy is due to avoidable attraction. So we'll try to identify what is the reasons that why the forward bearing and back bearing difference is not 180 degree. So means that's why if the differences still remains, so uh, then we can assume that the local attraction exists at one or both station. We can say that at one particular station the local attraction exists, or other particular station also the local attraction exists, right? So next is how to eliminate the local attraction. Once we have confirmed that the difference between forward bearing and back bearing is not 180 degree, then we will try to measure once again the forward bearing. And if we find that the forward bearing is not, or if we find that the forward bearing is after measuring twice, or after measuring two times, if we get the again we get the difference between forward bearing and back bearing is other than 180 degree, then we are sure that uh, the eliminations of local attractions, or we are sure that the local attractions is arises at that particular two stations. That's why we will proceed for how to eliminate the local attraction. First procedure is, if there is local attraction at a station, all the bearing measured at that place will be incorrect. If we are measuring local attraction at that stations, and we found that all the bearings at that place will be incorrect, and the amount of error will be equal to the bearing. So we'll simply assume that all the readings which are taken are incorrect at that particular stations, and will distribute the error equally. Okay, it is also assumed that there are no observation and other instrumental errors. So when we try to distribute the error, one thing we have to clear that there is no observational and there is no instrumental error. Observational error means that those errors which are arises because of observations fault. Okay, and the instrumental error, those error arises because of instrument uh, mismatching, or the instruments, you can say the adjustment of instrument is not proper. Suppose the line of sight is bending, so that kind of error is known as instrumental error. There are two methods for the elimination of local attraction. We have two methods how to eliminate the local attraction. One by one we can see how the local attractions can be eliminated. Okay, so the first method, or the base method for eliminate the local attraction, is the corrected bearing are calculated on the basis of line which is free from local attraction. So first we identify which point is free of local attraction. How to identify that point? We'll simply see the whether the difference between the forbearing and for back bearing is 180 degree. If that particular station the forbearing and back bearing difference is 180 degree, then we'll proceed for this method. The amount and directions of local attraction at each of the affected station is found. So we can find the local attraction error for each of the stations. In case if there is no line in which the two bearing differs by 180 degree, the correction should be made from the mean value of the bearing in which there is at least discrepancy between forbearing and back bearing. But if you not able to find the forbearing and back bearing is 180 degree, then we'll see the least possible way. Suppose one stations have, we are getting one station difference as 179 degree, and one station difference we get as 172 degree. So we'll go for the we will assume the correct station for 179 degrees, since there is no accurate forbearing or back bearing measurement is taking place at that particular place, right? So we can proceed that particular way for eliminating the local attractions. So this is all about the local attractions procedure. In the next class we'll go for the magnetic declinations. If you have any doubt, then feel free to ask in comment section. Thank you for watching.